Lieutenant Commander Nix Etherton hadn't slept in 36 hours, but the quantum readings on her holographic display made her forget about exhaustion entirely. She leaned forward in her monitoring station aboard Deep Space Station Helios 7, her dark eyes reflecting the cascade of impossible numbers scrolling across her screen. "This can't be right," she muttered, running her hands through her silver-streaked black hair. The station's quantum sensors were detecting something that simply shouldn't exist, a mass that appeared to be simultaneously present in multiple dimensional states. Helios 7 hung at the edge of human space, a titanium and carbon fiber sentinel monitoring the vast darkness between the Orion and Carina arms of the Milky Way. Nix had spent 3 years aboard the station, analyzing quantum fluctuations and gravitational anomalies. In all that time, she'd never seen anything like this. "Computer, run diagnostic sequence Alpha 9 on all quantum sensors," she commanded, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The station's AI complied instantly, its feminine voice calm and measured. "Diagnostic complete. All sensors functioning within normal parameters." Nix tapped her neural interface, connecting directly to the station's systems. Through the interface, she could feel the gentle thrum of Helios 7's quantum core, the steady pulse of its life support systems, and the constant stream of data from its sensor array. Everything felt normal, except for that impossible reading. "Station Command, this is Lieutenant Commander Etherton," she transmitted, requesting immediate conference with Captain Ortiz. Priority 1. Within minutes, Captain Ramona Ortiz's holographic form materialized beside Nix's station. The captain's weathered face showed concern. Priority 1 alerts were rare on deep space stations. "Talk to me, Etherton," Ortiz said, studying the quantum readings with her augmented eyes. "Something's out there, Captain. Something big." Nix manipulated the holographic display, highlighting the anomalous readings. "It's exhibiting quantum superposition on a macro scale. According to these readings, it exists in at least 7-dimensional states simultaneously." "That's impossible," Ortiz stated flatly. "Nothing larger than a few atoms can maintain quantum superposition." "I know the theory, Captain, but the readings are clear." Nix expanded the display, showing the anomaly's trajectory. "Whatever it is, it's heading straight for us." Captain Ortiz's augmented eyes whirred as they processed the data. "Time to intercept." "At current velocity," Nix began, but her voice trailed off as the readings suddenly changed. "That's not possible. It's everywhere at once." The station's lights flickered, and every holographic display twisted with impossible geometries. Through her neural interface, Nix felt something alien brush against the station's systems, a presence that seemed to exist in dimensions her mind couldn't comprehend. "Station defense systems online," the AI announced, but its voice distorted, stretching into harmonics that shouldn't exist. Through the station's observation windows, space itself appeared to fold. A shape emerged from the void, but Nix's eyes couldn't focus on it properly. It seemed to shift between states of matter, its form suggesting a vessel of some kind, but one that followed laws of physics humanity had never imagined. "By all the stars," Captain Ortiz whispered. The alien vessel, if that's what it was, stabilized into something their minds could process. It appeared as a crystalline structure that pulsed with internal light, its surface rippling like liquid metal frozen in time. It was beautiful in a way that made Nix's head hurt if she looked at it too long. "We're receiving a transmission," the AI announced. "The signal is quantum entangled. It's transmitting through all possible quantum states simultaneously." "Can you decode it?" Ortiz demanded. "Processing." The AI's voice fluctuated through multiple tones. "Translation matrix establishing." The message appears to be. The air in the command center shimmered, and a form materialized. It wasn't a hologram. It was something else entirely. A being of pure light and shadow stood before them, its form shifting between states of matter like a living quantum probability cloud. "We are the Tesserants," it spoke, its voice resonating not through air but through the quantum fabric of reality itself. "We have watched your species evolve through the dimensions. You are ready for the truth of existence." Nix felt her neural interface buzz with activity as the being's presence interfaced with their technology on a fundamental quantum level. Information flooded her mind, concepts and ideas that her human brain struggled to process. We exist in the spaces between your reality, the Tesseract continued, and the quantum foam that underlies all dimensions. We have waited until your species developed sufficient understanding of quantum mechanics to comprehend our existence. Captain Ortiz stepped forward, her military training asserting itself despite the unprecedented situation. I am Captain Ramona Ortiz of Deep Space Station Helios 7. On behalf of the United Earth Alliance, I welcome you. The Tesseract's form rippled with what might have been amusement. Time is fluid, Captain. This moment of first contact has occurred countless times across multiple quantum realities. In some, we are allies. In others, our meeting leads to the collapse of your dimensional plane. The choice of which reality manifests, that lies with you. Nyx felt a chill run down her spine as she processed the implications. Through her neural interface, she could sense the Tesseract vessel's impact on local space-time. Reality itself was becoming unstable around them. Why now? She asked, unable to contain her scientific curiosity. Why reveal yourselves at this moment? The Tesseract turned its attention to her, and Nyx felt her consciousness expand momentarily, touching realities she was never meant to perceive. Because, Lieutenant Commander Nyx Etherton, your species stands at a quantum crossroads. Your experiments with quantum computing and dimensional physics have begun to tear the veil between realities. Without guidance, you will either destroy yourselves or become something far more dangerous than you can imagine. Warning alarms blared throughout the station as reality fluctuations intensified. Through the windows, Nyx could see space itself beginning to crystallize into visible quantum states. The process has already begun, the Tesseract announced. Your station's quantum core is resonating with our presence. Soon, you will all have to make a choice. Remain bound to your single reality, or embrace the infinite quantum possibilities of existence. As if to emphasize its point, the being shifted, briefly showing them glimpses of other realities, versions of Helios 7 where different choices had led to different outcomes. Nyx saw herself in 1,000 different roles, living 1,000 different lives. We offer knowledge, the Tesseract concluded. But knowledge changes those who receive it. Are you prepared for such change? Captain Ortiz and Nyx exchanged glances. In that moment, they both knew they stood at the threshold of humanity's greatest challenge. Their response would determine not just their own fate, but the fate of every quantum reality where this moment existed. The choice, and its infinite consequences, awaited their answer. Ambassador Kieran Vandross stood before the quantum mirror, adjusting the collar of their formal diplomatic attire. The mirror showed not just their reflection, but quantum echoes of choices not made, versions of themselves in different uniforms, different roles, different lives. After 3 months of negotiations with the Tesseracts, even simple objects had begun exhibiting quantum properties. The Embassy of Shadows, as the media had dubbed it, floated in high Earth orbit. It wasn't a traditional structure, but rather a space where multiple realities overlapped, held stable by Tesseract technology. Kieran had insisted on its construction, arguing that humanity needed a dedicated facility for interdimensional diplomacy. Ambassador, their AI assistant, chimed, its voice phase shifting between tones. The Tesseract delegation is ready to begin today's session. Also, your quantum stability readings are fluctuating again. Kieran glanced at their hands, which had become slightly translucent. Prolonged exposure to the Tesseracts was affecting everyone differently. Some humans reported enhanced quantum awareness, others experienced temporary phase shifting between realities. The medical community was still debating whether these changes were evolutionary advances or concerning symptoms. Acknowledge, they responded, reaching for their quantum stabilizer. The small device, a gift from the Tesseracts, helped maintain their molecular cohesion in single-dimensional space. Any updates from the Security Council? 17 new reports of quantum anomalies in major population centers. The Beijing incident has been contained, but Shanghai is experiencing severe reality fluctuations. The Council is demanding answers. Kieran sighed, feeling the weight of their position. As humanity's first quantum diplomat, they were responsible for managing a relationship that defied conventional physics, let alone traditional diplomacy. The conference chamber shifted around them as they entered, its architecture refusing to settle into any single configuration. At the center, 3 Tesseran representatives waited, or rather, existed in a state of waiting across multiple probability streams. "Greetings, Ambassador Vandross," spoke Wave Dancer, the primary Tesseran diplomat. Its form rippled like Aurora Borealis given consciousness. "We sense disturbance in your quantum field. The changes progress." "They do," Kieran acknowledged, taking their seat at the probability table, a furniture piece that existed in all possible configurations simultaneously. Which brings us to today's agenda. The Security Council is concerned about the growing number of quantum anomalies on Earth. Our scientists can't explain why reality seems to be unraveling. Explanation exists in quantum state. Timeweaver, the second Tesseran, responded. Its voice resonated through multiple dimensions. "Your species perceives problem incorrectly. Reality not unraveling, reality expanding. Humans beginning to perceive true nature of existence." The third Tesseran, Space Singer, shifted forward, its form momentarily revealing glimpses of other universes within its crystalline structure. "We have watched your development across 10,000 quantum timelines. In each, this moment arrives. Humanity must choose, remain bound to single-dimensional existence, or embrace quantum nature." Kieran leaned forward, their diplomatic training warring with growing frustration. "With respect, these changes are causing panic. Yesterday, an entire neighborhood in Shanghai began quantum shifting. Hundreds of people are experiencing overlapping memories from multiple timelines. Children are phasing between realities." As expected, Wave Dancer replied, its tone suggesting what might have been compassion. "Quantum awareness spreads like ripples in probability pool, cannot be contained. Natural evolution of consciousness." "Natural?" Kieran's voice rose slightly. "There's nothing natural about people suddenly existing in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The public is terrified. Some religious groups are calling it the apocalypse. Others want to sever all contact with your species." The Tesserans shared a quantum resonance, their version of a private conference. Kieran had learned to recognize the subtle vibrations in space-time when they communicated among themselves. "Show truth," Space Singer finally declared. The conference chamber dissolved, reality peeling away like layers of an onion. Kieran found themselves floating in what appeared to be the quantum substrate of existence itself. All around them, timelines branched and merged, forming an infinite web of possibilities. "Observe," Timeweaver instructed. "Your species' timeline." Kieran watched in awe as human history unfolded before them, not as a single thread, but as a vast tapestry of interconnected possibilities. They saw humanity's quantum potential, the countless paths of evolution and development that had always existed just beyond normal perception. "Your experiments with quantum computing," Wave Dancer explained, "have begun awakening dormant capabilities. Humans already possess quantum nature, has merely been suppressed by limited dimensional perception." The vision shifted, showing future possibilities. Kieran saw versions of Earth where humanity had fully embraced its quantum nature, existing in harmony with multiple dimensions. But they also saw timelines where fear and resistance led to catastrophic attempts to suppress the change, resulting in the collapse of reality itself. This is too much," Kieran whispered, their minds struggling to process the infinite perspectives. "How can I make humanity understand this? How can I convince them to accept such fundamental changes to their very existence?" "Understanding not required," Space Singer responded. "Change already initiated. Choice now lies in how humanity responds. Will you guide your species toward acceptance, or allow fear to dominate?" The chamber reformed around them, but Kieran's perception had shifted. They could now see the quantum nature of everything, the probability clouds that made up seemingly solid matter, the overlapping timelines that intersected at every point of decision. The Shanghai incident, they realized, it's not an isolated event, is it? It's spreading. The whole human race is beginning to perceive quantum reality. "Correct," Wave Dancer confirmed. "Process accelerates." Soon, all humans will experience quantum awareness. Some will adapt. Others will resist. Your role, ambassador, is not to prevent change, but to guide transition. Kieran's hands had become fully translucent now, their body existing in multiple quantum states simultaneously. The stabilizer wasn't suppressing the changes anymore. It was merely making them manageable. I'll need resources, they said, their diplomatic mind already formulating plans. Education programs, support systems for those experiencing quantum shifts, research facilities to study and understand these changes. Resources provided, Time Weaver agreed. But time limited. Reality shift accelerates. Humanity must prepare. As the meeting concluded, Kieran remained at the probability table, watching patterns of quantum foam dance across its surface. Their AI assistant materialized beside them, its holographic form now showing signs of quantum behavior as well. Ambassador, it reported, the Security Council is requesting an immediate update. They're receiving reports of quantum phenomena from every major city on Earth. How should I respond? Kieran stood, their form briefly splitting into multiple quantum echoes before stabilizing. Tell them that humanity stands at the threshold of its greatest transformation. And whether we're ready or not, the future is quantum. In the space around the Embassy of Shadows, reality continued to shift and change as humanity's consciousness expanded beyond the boundaries of single-dimensional existence. The true scope of the universe, with all its infinite possibilities, was finally revealing itself to human perception. The question was no longer whether humanity would change, but whether they could adapt to their new quantum nature before the old reality collapsed entirely. As Kieran prepared their report for the Security Council, they couldn't help but wonder which timeline they were creating with their next decisions. The Embassy of Shadows shimmered in Earth's orbit, a testament to humanity's first steps into a quantum existence that would forever change what it meant to be human. Dr. Reland Blackthorne's laboratory at the Quantum Physics Institute in Geneva was breaking down at the molecular level. He watched through specialized goggles as reality itself fractured around his equipment, creating prismatic cascades of probability waves that shouldn't have been visible to the human eye. Record observation log. Day 94 since first contact. He spoke into his quantum-encrypted recorder. The degradation of local space-time continues to accelerate. Standard matter is exhibiting increasing quantum behavior at the macro scale. My coffee mug just existed in 17 different positions simultaneously. The mug in question had finally settled into a single quantum state, but only after spilling coffee across multiple parallel realities. Reland's research partner, Dr. Indira Patel, phased through 3 different versions of herself as she cleaned up the mess. The quantum bleed is getting worse, Indira said, her form finally stabilizing. Did you see the news from Tokyo? An entire ward shifted into quantum superposition. Thousands of people are experiencing simultaneous parallel lives. Reland nodded, his artificial eye whirring as it recorded quantum fluctuation data. After losing his natural eye in a quantum reactor accident 5 years ago, the prosthetic had become an invaluable research tool. Now it was showing him things he wished he couldn't see. The Tesserans claim this is natural evolution, he muttered, reviewing holographic data streams. But my readings suggest something far more concerning. Look at this. He gestured at a complex mathematical model hovering in the air. The quantum field distortions aren't just affecting matter, they're weakening the fundamental forces holding reality together. Indira frowned, her quantum-enhanced consciousness processing the implications. Like many scientists working directly with quantum phenomena, she had begun developing increased sensitivity to probability states. You think the Tesserans aren't telling us everything? I think they're telling us what they believe to be true, Reland replied, manipulating the holographic equations. But their perspective is fundamentally different from ours. They evolved as quantum beings. We're being forced to transform into something we don't fully understand. The laboratory's quantum shielding fluctuated, causing reality to ripple around them. Through his artificial eye, Reland saw overlapping probability waves washing through the walls like tide patterns. Each wave carried echoes of other realities, versions of the lab where different choices had led to different outcomes. Look at these readings, he continued, highlighting a particular data set. The quantum field disruptions aren't random. They're following a pattern, like ripples spreading from multiple impact points. But the source? The source predates first contact with the tesserants. Indira's eyes widened. What are you suggesting? Before Rylan could answer, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red warning holograms materialized, showing critical quantum instability warnings across multiple sectors. Emergency containment protocols initiated, announced the facility's AI. Quantum cascade event detected in Sector 7. Rylan and Indira rushed to the observation deck, overlooking the Institute's quantum containment chamber. The massive circular room housed the world's most advanced quantum research reactor, a device designed to study the boundary between classical and quantum physics. The reactor was in chaos. Quantum probability waves visible to the naked eye now surged around the core, creating a maelstrom of overlapping realities. Through his artificial eye, Rylan saw something that made his blood run cold. Those energy signatures, he whispered. They're identical to the Tesserant ship's quantum wake. But these are from 6 months ago, before first contact. Indira's quantum sensitivity allowed her to perceive the underlying patterns. The reactor, it's not causing the quantum cascade. It's responding to something else. Something that's been affecting our reality since before the Tesserants arrived. Rylan's artificial eye recorded everything as the quantum storm intensified. In the swirling chaos of probability waves, he began to see a larger pattern emerging, one that suggested a terrible possibility. Computer, he commanded, overlay quantum disturbance data from the past 12 months with known Tesserant contact points. The AI compiled the information, creating a 4-dimensional model that hung in the air before them. The pattern was undeniable. The Tesserants didn't trigger humanity's quantum evolution, Rylan realized, his voice barely a whisper. They're responding to it. Something else caused this, something that's been influencing our reality for months, maybe years before they arrived. A violent quantum surge rocked the facility, causing multiple versions of reality to briefly coexist. Through the quantum chaos, Rylan saw himself making this same discovery across countless parallel timelines. In some, he remained silent. In others, he took the evidence public. In a few, darker timelines, he never survived to understand what he was seeing. We need to get this data to Ambassador Vandross, Indira said, already attempting to establish a quantum encrypted communication link. If the Tesserants aren't the source of these changes, then who is? Rylan finished. And more importantly, why did the Tesserants choose this moment to reveal themselves? What do they know that they're not telling us? The quantum reactor's containment field suddenly failed, releasing a wave of pure probability. Reality fractured around them like broken glass, each shard showing a different version of events. Rylan saw countless possibilities playing out simultaneously: success, failure, discovery, disaster. Through his artificial eye, he caught a glimpse of something in the quantum chaos, a pattern that shouldn't have been there. Not random fluctuations, but a signal, a message, encoded in the quantum foam of reality itself. Indira, he called out, his voice steady despite the reality storm raging around them. I need you to see something. Look at the quantum signature of these distortions. They're not random mutations or natural evolution. They're program changes. As the quantum chaos subsided, Rylan began frantically documenting his observations. The Tesserants aren't causing humanity's transformation, he dictated into his recorder. They're here to monitor it. Someone, or something, has been deliberately altering the quantum structure of our reality. The Tesserants aren't the architects of this change. They're the witnesses. In the quantum-shielded depths of the facility, Rylan's artificial eye continued recording as reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The true architects of humanity's quantum transformation remained hidden, but their handiwork was becoming clear. Humanity wasn't evolving naturally into a quantum species. They were being deliberately transformed. The question was no longer whether humanity could adapt to these changes, but who was orchestrating them, and to what end. As Rieland stared into the quantum abyss of possibility, he couldn't shake the feeling that something vast and incomprehensible was watching humanity's transformation with keen interest. The quantum resonance was not just a phenomenon to be studied. It was a message written into the fabric of reality itself. And Rieland Blackthorne might be the only person who could decode it before reality itself unraveled completely. Captain Junwei Zhou stood at the helm of the Quantum Horizon, humanity's first ship designed to navigate quantum space intentionally. The vessel itself was a marvel of hybrid engineering, part human technology, part Tesseran design, and part something else entirely that seemed to defy traditional physics. Status report, he commanded, watching as his crew struggled to maintain their quantum coherence. Each member wore a modified stabilizer, but even these enhanced devices couldn't fully prevent the reality shifts that plagued them. Multiple quantum signatures detected ahead, Captain, reported Lieutenant Olivia Masters, her form briefly splitting into 3 versions before realigning. The dimensional tear it's growing faster than projected. Through the ship's quantum-enhanced viewports, Junwei could see it. A massive rent in the fabric of space-time, bleeding probability waves into normal space. Dr. Blackthorne's discoveries had led them here, to what might be the source of humanity's forced quantum evolution. Voitsinger, Junwei called out to their Tesseran advisor, "You said you've seen this before?" The crystalline being shifted through multiple states as it responded, its thoughts translating directly into human comprehension. In other realities, yes. The tear represents a boundary between dimensional states. Something is attempting to merge quantum and classical space. The bridge crew watched in awe as reality itself seemed to fold and unfold around the anomaly. The Quantum Horizon had been dispatched on this mission after Dr. Blackthorne's revelation about the true nature of humanity's transformation. If they couldn't seal the dimensional tear, the quantum cascade would continue until Earth's reality completely destabilized. Engineering? Status of the resonance drive? Junwei asked, his artificial nerves tingling with quantum interference. Chief Engineer Dante Rodriguez's voice crackled through quantum space. The drive is stable, but these readings don't make sense, Captain. It's like the tear is responding to our presence. Almost like it was waiting for us. Junwei felt a chill run through his quantum-shifted body. The mission briefing hadn't prepared him for this possibility. Voitsinger, what do you make of this? The Tesseran's form crystallized into a more focused state. The patterns, they are familiar. This tear, it bears the signature of ancient ones, those who came before even the Tesserans. We believe them long vanished from this dimensional plane. Warning alerts suddenly flared across the bridge as the tear began pulsing with new energy. Through the quantum viewport, Junwei watched in horror as reality itself began to warp and twist. Multiple quantum signatures emerging. Lieutenant Masters shouted, "Something's coming through." The tear expanded, and from its depths emerged a sight that defied comprehension. Massive structures that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, their geometries impossible for human minds to fully process. "The Ancient One's return," Voitsinger whispered, its crystalline form resonating with recognition. They who seeded the quantum potential in countless species across multiple realities. They who guided evolution toward quantum consciousness. Junwei's tactical training kicked in despite his awe. All hands, battle stations. Raise quantum shields. But the Ancient Ones made no aggressive moves. Instead, the impossible structures arranged themselves in a pattern around the quantum horizon. Energy began to flow between them, creating a complex web of quantum relationships. "Captain," Chief Rodriguez called from engineering, "the resonance drive. It's synchronizing with their energy pattern. The quantum matrix is aligning perfectly, as if our ship was designed for this moment." Understanding dawned on Junwei as pieces of the puzzle fell into place. They've been preparing us, he realized. The quantum changes, the Tesseran contact, this ship, it was all leading to this moment. Voidsinger's form pulsed with confirmation. Yes. The Ancient Ones see quantum potential in promising species, then guide their evolution when the time is right. The Tesserans were their first success in this galaxy. Humanity is to be their second. The bridge crew watched in amazement as the Ancient One's structures began transmitting vast amounts of data directly into the ship's quantum computers. Information about reality itself, about the true nature of existence, about humanity's potential future as a quantum species. But the cascade effects on Earth, Junwei protested. The chaos, the suffering, why not simply communicate with us directly? Quantum awareness cannot be given, Voitsinger explained. It must be awakened naturally, through controlled crisis. Your species needed to experience quantum reality to understand it, to fear it, to embrace it. Lieutenant Master's console suddenly lit up with urgent readings. Captain, the tear, it's beginning to collapse. But the quantum effects, they're stabilizing. Junwei watched as the Ancient One's structures began to pulse in perfect rhythm with the quantum horizon's resonance drive. They weren't here to destroy humanity or force its evolution. They were here to complete what they had started, to stabilize humanity's quantum transition before it tore reality apart. The resonance protocol, Voitsinger announced. Your ship was designed to serve as a quantum key, Captain. With it, you can help regulate humanity's transformation, prevent the uncontrolled cascade effects that threaten your world. The weight of this revelation settled over the bridge. Their mission had changed from preventing humanity's quantum evolution to ensuring its successful completion. How do we proceed? Junwei asked, knowing his next decisions would affect not just his crew, not just Earth, but potentially every reality where humanity existed. The Ancient Ones provide the method, Voitsinger replied. Your ship provides the means. The choice to accept this transformation, that belongs to humanity alone. Junwei stood from his command chair, his form briefly shifting through quantum states as he made his decision. Bridge to engineering. Chief Rodriguez, begin synchronization with the Ancient One's quantum matrix. Lieutenant Masters, establish a quantum link with Earth Command. And Voitsinger, help us understand what we're about to become. The quantum horizon hung suspended between realities, its resonance drive humming in harmony with the Ancient One's quantum structures. Humanity stood on the brink of its greatest transformation, guided by beings who had watched and waited across countless dimensional planes. The question was no longer whether they would evolve, but whether they could handle the responsibility that came with quantum existence. As the Ancient One's knowledge flowed into the ship's computers, Junwei Zhou prepared to guide humanity through its final steps into a quantum future. The resonance protocol had begun, and with it, the next chapter in human evolution. Fleet Admiral Cassandra Drake stood in the quantum-shifted command center of Earth Defense Headquarters, watching reality fracture and reform around her. Holographic displays showed the status of every major population center on Earth, all of them now experiencing controlled quantum transitions thanks to the resonance protocol. Status report from the quantum horizon, she asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. Captain Zhou reports successful implementation of the protocol across 80% of major population centers, her quantum-enhanced AI reported. The Ancient One's structures continue to stabilize local space-time. However, resistance movements are growing. Singapore, Dubai, and Rio have declared quantum-free zones. They're attempting to block the protocol using experimental reality anchors. Cassandra closed her eyes, feeling the quantum possibilities radiating through her consciousness. Like most humans now, she could perceive multiple timeline variations, see the consequences of choices before they were made. It was beautiful, terrifying, and impossible to ignore. Admiral, a crystalline voice resonated through quantum space. The time approaches. Tesseran Elder Light Weaver materialized in the command center, its form more stable than most Tesserans, suggesting ancient mastery of quantum existence. Alongside it appeared Dr. Rillan Blackthorn, his artificial eye now capable of perceiving quantum frequencies that even the Tesserans couldn't see. The resistance is understandable, Rillan reported, reviewing data streams with his enhanced vision. We're asking humanity to abandon traditional physical existence. to become something entirely new. Not abandon, Lightweaver corrected. Transcend, as the Ancient Ones intended when they first seeded quantum potential in your species. Cassandra turned to face the assembled leaders. And if we refuse? If humanity chooses to remain as we are? The answer came not from Lightweaver, but from Ambassador Kieran Vandross, who phased into existence beside them. Their form was now almost entirely quantum, shifting between states of matter as naturally as breathing. We can't remain as we are, Kieran stated firmly. Dr. Blackthorn's research confirms it. The quantum potential within humanity has been awakened. We either complete the transition or face total reality collapse. Holographic displays suddenly flared with urgent alerts. In Rio de Janeiro, the reality anchors had failed catastrophically. Uncontrolled quantum effects were tearing the city's space-time apart. Quantum Horizon responding. Captain Zhou's voice reported through the quantum link, redirecting resonance fields to contain the cascade. They watched as Junwei's ship, guided by Ancient One's technology, worked to stabilize the quantum chaos. But Cassandra could see the larger pattern forming. More resistance would mean more failures, more catastrophes. The Ancient Ones knew this would happen, she realized. That's why they triggered our quantum evolution gradually, why they sent the Tesserans to guide us. They knew we'd need time to understand, to accept. Lightweaver's form pulsed with approval. Yes, as it was with our species eons ago. The gift of quantum existence cannot be forced. It must be chosen. But they did force it, Rylan argued, his artificial eye whirring. They initiated these changes without our consent. Without. Did they? Kieran interrupted. Or did they simply awaken potential that was always there? Human consciousness has always defied classical physics. Our ability to imagine, to conceive of multiple possibilities simultaneously, we've always been partially quantum. We just couldn't perceive it. New alerts flashed across the command center. The quantum transition was accelerating worldwide. Millions were now experiencing full quantum awareness, their consciousness expanding beyond traditional physical limitations. But millions more were fighting against it, their fear and resistance creating dangerous reality distortions. Admiral, Junwei's voice came through again. The Ancient Ones are offering a choice. Their structures can either complete humanity's quantum transition, or reverse it, return us to classical existence. But we must choose now, before the quantum cascade becomes irreversible. Cassandra felt the weight of history bearing down on her. As Earth's highest-ranking military commander, her recommendation to the World Council would likely determine humanity's path. Show me, she commanded. Show me the possibilities. Lightweaver and Kieran joined their quantum consciousness with hers, while Rylan's artificial eye recorded everything. Together, they perceived the branching timelines. In one future, humanity embraced its quantum nature. Earth became a nexus of quantum civilization, humans existing across multiple dimensions, their consciousness expanded beyond ancient limitations. They joined the Ancient Ones and Tesserans as shepherds of universal evolution. In another, they rejected the transformation. The Ancient Ones reversed the quantum awakening, reality stabilized, and humanity continued on its classical path. Safe, limited, forever watching the quantum realm from outside. And in countless others, they saw partial acceptance, resistance, conflict, timelines that led to reality collapse and humanity's extinction. The choice must be unanimous, Lightweaver explained. A species' quantum state cannot remain divided. You will all transition, or none will. Cassandra opened her quantum-enhanced senses fully, feeling the pulse of humanity's collective consciousness. Fear, wonder, resistance, acceptance, all flowing together in a symphony of possibility. The whole of human history has been leading to this, she said finally. Every scientific discovery, every philosophical question about the nature of reality, every human moment of wondering what if we were always meant to take this step. She turned to her quantum-shifted command staff. Send word to the World Council. Tell them. She paused, feeling timelines shift with the weight of her next words. Tell them that humanity's next evolution awaits our acceptance. We can remain bound to one reality or become citizens of the quantum infinite. As her message reached the council, Cassandra felt reality itself hold its breath. The Ancient One's structures pulsed with potential energy, waiting. The quantum horizon stood ready to implement humanity's choice. And in quantum-shifted command centers, bunkers, and homes across the Earth, billions of humans faced the same decision. In that moment of choice, humanity stood unified as never before, poised between what they had been and what they could become. The quantum resonance that had begun as a mysterious signal now revealed itself as the heartbeat of a new kind of existence. Beyond the veil of classical reality, the infinite quantum cosmos waited to welcome its newest children home. And humanity, with a collective courage that echoed across multiple dimensions, took its first step into forever.